Hi, it's been a while. It really truly has. Um, a lot has happened. And I hope this saves because if it doesn't, I don't think, I don't know when I will have the energy to do it again. Um, Welcome back to another episode of Heart Flow, the podcast where I, Shayla, your host, discuss topics that are given to me, presented to me, um, that people want to know my insight on, mainly because I am a mental health therapist, associate, let's be clear. Um, and most of the time, my perspectives do not align with the popular perspective, um, because of that, because I am also a Christian. So it just doesn't align. I'm not the Christian that will beat the Bible over your head type. Um, but I can be just different in my perspective and views. For the most part, though, a lot of what I've been talking about recently has been on my own healing journey and what has taken place with me since May, specifically when I was sexually assaulted. I've been talking about that. But you guys, a lot has happened in the month of May. In the month of August. Um, Not really dealing with the sexual assault in May. Just life hit me harder than I would have ever expected it to hit. Um, and I will talk a bit about that, kind of like a catch up. Um, Really, truly. So I was in a car accident August 20th. Was in a car accident August 20th. It wasn't like my whole car fell apart or anything like that. It still, it messed my car up to the point of where they totaled it out. So it was totaled. But I was in a car accident, and that really just sent me to the bottom of the ocean. Honestly and truly, like, it was just a lot. It was a lot, bruh. It was a lot. I think the same day, I also, y'all remember how I said I was waiting for the other shoe to drop? Um, I was waiting to get contacted by the perpetrator. Randomly, the same day I got into a car accident, I think it was the same day I got into a car accident, he messaged me like back to back, like six messages back to back, because I guess an officer contacted him, reached out to him, I guess saw him somewhere. I don't know how it worked because I never got the heads up like I thought I was supposed to from the detective that was going to let me know that they was going to make contact. I did not get that. So I didn't know this was about to happen. Yay. Yay me. Um yep, so I got messages back to back from him, trying to plead his case and whatever. Um, and then I also got an email from the my apartment saying that they were going to have to relocate us because they needed to redo the landing and the stairs. It was a lot that day. That day, it was a lot for me. Okay? Um, and it was too much. It was too much. Um, and to be honest and to be frank, cutting definitely crossed my mind. I didn't partake, but it was definitely there, and it was there heavy. Like heavy, heavy, heavy. Okay. Um, More so the next day than that day. That day, I was just like, I don't know, drowning is how it felt. Um, and then Yeah, so I got all of that. I haven't heard from the guy since. I didn't respond to any of his messages because honestly and truly, we could have had a conversation the same day. If you really wanted to plead your case, if you really wanted to plead your case and you really wanted to have some type of understanding or an adult conversation, as he put it, we could have talked that same day, but that's not the actions, that's not the behavior that he had. So we didn't have that conversation. And, um, okay, let's say you wasn't ready to talk then. You wasn't ready to talk then, but you hit me later on, a few hours later, when I was at the hospital. We could have had a conversation then. But in that conversation, you were very dismissive on what I was actually telling you. So you weren't trying to hear me out. You weren't trying to have a grown up conversation. That's not how it was. So you've had plenty of time. And then after that, you hit me up again that I didn't respond to. There were moments, there were plenty of opportunity for us to have a grown up conversation, for us to talk, for us to whatever you're trying to plead your case about. But that's not the route you were taking. That's not what you were doing. So I don't have nothing to say to you anymore. Um yeah, so there's that. So I didn't respond to his messages. Um and then if I cry on here, I'm gonna really do my best not to cry. Um, I'm, but I might get a little choked up. But and then, so that was like Wednesday, Thursday ish. I can't remember the days, right? So it was an accident, and then there was an email from my apartment, and then the dude was reaching out to me. Okay, and then my mom had a life or death situation happen to her. Technically, that Saturday, but she didn't go to the hospital until Monday. That in itself, okay, is very extremely frustrating. Very very frustrating. Not necessarily on her part, but the people around her could have taken her to the hospital on Saturday. They could have. Okay. She went on Monday. She had been in the hospital for a week, pretty much, and then she went into inpatient the week later for rehab, and then so then she was in inpatient rehab. Um, so clearly, with me saying she went into inpatient rehab, she's alive. Thank God. She is alive and well. Amen. Um, but so, and then the day she was released from inpatient was the day I had to move out of my apartment so they can fix the stuff. And that was going to be, I had to be out for a week, which was also the week I was supposed to be traveling out of town. A lot still happening, which is also the week I had to find the lease. I'm not the lease, find the title for my car because they totaled my car out and I had to return the rental car. Honestly, just thinking about it right now is just so much, okay? It's so much. It's so much. I had to do all that. Packing for two individuals that is supposed to be in two different places for like 5 days is stressful. full, and I wasn't going to have any access to my apartment. I could not come back in because the stairs was going to be gone. The landing was going to be gone. I could not come back in here. So I literally had to pack for almost any situation. Yeah. Okay. I thought I lost my title. I ended up finding it, but I thought I lost it. So that was like, oh my God. Um, and then, but okay, so I packed up, got us out Tuesday. Got my mom also from her inpatient. Got her home. Did the things that she needed to do that day. Got my son, all the stuff. I'm supposed to be leaving Thursday to go out of town for my birthday. My brother has the flu. So my trip is canceled now. Which honestly, I was not even in the headspace or had the energy to travel anymore. It was disappointing that he had the flu because I wanted to see him, even though he was here like the weekend before. He had came down because of the situation with my mom. He had came down or whatever, but it was a short visit. And the birthday trip was already planned. And I think I mentioned this in the previous video. So I can go be with my brother, but he ended up having the flu, which was very disappointing. But I also didn't have the energy to do anything else, so I was just like, whatever. But when I tell you, I was in the hotel room, just sad. I cried like all of Thursday. I was just down, depressed, and down. Friday too. Friday was my birthday, the 12th, and I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything at all. I didn't do a lick of nothing except for I did buy myself a seafood boil, which was bomb. It was bomb. And my son was, for the most part, he slept at my mom's. And one of my good former colleague picked him up Friday and had a blast with him and her girls, and he played Play-Doh, played in water fun, all the things. He had a time, okay? So I'm very thankful for her for that. But I didn't do anything for my birthday. Absolutely nothing except for cry and eat a seafood boil. I have to pause here, which I'm probably not going to remember to come back to this, but something that I wanted to talk about a bit, because this is what it leads me to this. It's the disappointment in men. Okay? Dudes are disappointing. Like, bruh, and I can't even get my thoughts fully together in this moment like I really want to. I was conversing with somebody, right, for over a month. I said this in one of my snaps, but they're going to be watching my podcast, so here we go. I was conversing with this guy for over a month, back and forth, whatever, right. But sometimes he would like disappear for days and then pop back in. And at first he was like, my mental health, whatever, And so who I am, I was like, okay, cool. Like, deal with that, whatever the case may be, have your moment, your space, your time. But then it happened again. And I was like, for real clarity, is this because of mental health, whatever, or are you doing this because of me? Like, am I doing something for you to want to not talk to me for days on end? Because this is getting a little like, not weird, but like, what is this? For real? Inconsistency bothers me. And it boiled down to, he said, he's not used to soft love. I will never in my life be an aggressive female. As much as I may present in some ways to be like not aggressive, but like that nigga for real, okay? I'm not that way with my man. Because you're the man. So why would I need to be in a masculine role when you're the man? Unless you show me that you cannot be the man that you said you're going to be, then you will no longer get that soft side of me. Because now I have to play both roles. And what am I being soft for when you're not doing what you're supposed to do? Okay. And then at that point, there's no respect and you're not my nigga. But until you show me that, there's no reason for me to give you that side. I am going to be the soft, submissive woman that I am naturally. Okay? So for him to say, which I mean, okay, thank you for telling me, so now I know, right? But I'm not going to change who I am just because you are used to aggressive females or like hood toxic females. That's not me. And for you to go ghost on me for days because you can't receive soft love tells me that you're not ready for me. And it tells me that I need to move on. That's what it tells me. What it also tells me is that you cannot communicate well. Which tells me you are not ready for a relationship. And I need to listen the first time. It does not matter how many times a person pops up in your life if they aren't going to be the person you need or even the person you desire. They will continue to be that individual. And it's up to you, me, to make a boundary and say, I keep that shit over there. Don't bring it over here. Okay? Somebody over there might want that, but I don't. What do I want? Consistency. What do I want? Someone that is striving to be healthy and whole. What do I want? Somebody that's ready for me. And until I find that person, I literally have to tell myself, which is really I was just telling my best friend this, the anxious attachment style of me wants to hold on to the things that may not even be good for me. Wants to want to prove that I'm great, right? That's the anxious attachment style of me. I haven't been doing that. But what I have found myself doing, like in the absence of the communication, or when the pop back up happens, I'm like, oh, great, okay, we can communicate. No, we can't. We can't communicate. You know why? Because they're the exact same person. And they keep showing you that they're the exact same person. So, walk away. Walk away. Do not answer. And I'm not a big block person because the only person I want to block is the perpetrator. But I can't block him because I have to prove harassment if I ever take this to get a restraining order. So I can't do that. But I'm not a big block person because most of the time, these niggas not about to really communicate with me for real. They're not really about to hit me up. And I think that is because they see the woman that I am and the things that I want, so they're not about to really hit me back up again. You know what I'm saying? And then also when I get to a point of I don't really want to mess with you no more, I'm not going to, and you about to get this I'm that nigga energy. And no dude really wanna deal with that. So yeah, they don't really hit me up for real. So there's no reason to block people. Any of the dudes that I've come across so far. Um, I'm laughing because I can tell that I am in such a uh, regressed or like depressed brain state because of how I'm talking. Um, which I mean, it is what it is at this point. But that's that, right? Lessons to be learned. A lesson I'm learning for myself, and I'm just I'm disappointed just in men because the ones that I am encountering are not being who they say they are. And there was this person I know, he watches my podcast. So does the other dude too, probably, maybe. Um, I was holding this guy in such a high regard, right? We reconnected because I reached out or whatever, and I was like, I missed my friend, which was true. I missed my friend, right? Because I held him in the place of like he was really a friend of mine, someone that I could communicate with, right? And he would have some type of a different insight or perspective to give me that would help me, whatever, and could like calm me, you know? But that's not who I am to him. Stick with me. And what made me realize this was on my birthday. I had invited him over on my birthday or whatever, because again, I wasn't doing anything. So I'm just at the hotel sat, pretty much, right? Um, and I told him he can come over if he wanted to, if he chose to. I'm not trying to do nothing with this nigga. Okay? Like nothing at all. And I said that multiple times. I'm not. Just it ain't that. Um so he was gonna come over. He said he was dealing with some stuff. He told me what the stuff he was dealing with or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. And then with that, I was like, you ain't got to come over. Pretty much. Like, I understand you got some stuff going on. Whatever. He said he was going to come through anyway. Your choice, your decision. Um, he comes over. He gets to the hotel. He's waiting for me to let him in, like the garage, right? As I'm going down the elevator, he's like, I'm leaving, I'm gone. What? What do you, huh? I was like, I'm coming down right now. I'm gone. I'm not there. What do you mean you're gone? I left. Why would you drive over? I don't care if you was 2 seconds up the street. Why did you come if you weren't going to come over? For real. What was the point? What was the point? And with it being my birthday, you just leave? What? That left a bad taste in my mouth because you could have just not. You could have just not. Nothing was going to happen. We were just literally just going to hang out. That's it. I have food, my seafood boiled, and I was going to kill that. That ain't sexy to be eating a seafood boil. Um, So nothing was about to pop off, but you come, but then leave. That just, what? And I, it just doesn't make it. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me, because the reason an excuse was the same reason an excuse he gave prior to coming, and still he decided to come. So if that was the reason from the beginning, you shouldn't have came. You shouldn't have came at all. And to me, that wasn't the real reason. It wasn't the real reason. I don't know what the real reason is, but it wasn't that. Um, Again, disappointing. Disappointing. And if all of the reasons that you gave was the reason, if the reasons you gave prior to coming was the reason you left, then I'm really not that same, like, safe space for him as he is for me. I don't hold that place. Um and I'm not as important, or I'm not we don't have that bond or that connection like I thought we did, and as he had expressed before. That's not true in my mind. For me, after that incident, that's not true, because I don't think an individual would leave in that way and treat that situation, that incident, like that if we were closer. I don't think so. I would never do that to one of my friends. Absolutely not. I would never do that to one of my friends. We're going to hang out. They tell me to come over. I'm in the parking lot and say I left. What? There's a bunch of different words I want to say, but I'm not saying out loud. But, like, I would never do that to one of my friends. Absolutely not. Especially not on their birthday. Huh? Again, disappointing. And also realizing where I fall in people's lives. And to leave it at that. To leave it there. It is what it is. To leave it there. Disappointing. Very disappointing. I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. Um, I just don't. I don't get it. Um, yeah. So my birthday sucked. Not because of that. That was just an added suckery part of it. I'm not gonna say my birthday sucked. It was just another day. It was very emotional. So it was the day before. I was supposed to. My trip was from like Thursday to Sunday, so I was gonna like leave my son with my mom in the evenings, just sleep there. Um, Most of it, even though I didn't go out of town, to try to have that weekend, for my birthday, whatever. That is that. I got my son early Saturday morning. Okay, I canceled the plan with whomever was supposed to pick him up that Saturday. I was like, never mind, never mind. You ain't got to. I actually did that. I think Friday night. I was like, nope, never mind. You ain't got to go pick him up. It's good. I got him. Let me go get my kid. I went to go get my kid. Um, and we hung out. It was him and I, per usual. The usual, okay? Um, on Saturday. And for the rest of the weekend, it was me and him. Um, so I did not celebrate my birthday in any fantastic way. I barely celebrated my birthday. I didn't. I don't even think I said happy birthday to myself, honestly. Um, yeah. What just came back to my mind is going back to the other the other guy. Um, this is what I don't. I keep saying that I don't understand, but I do understand because it's very much so like the avoidant attachment style, right? To pop in and pop out or whatever. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. I'm not gonna pose the question because I just answered my question honestly. It's the avoidant attachment style, that I want you close, but I'm gonna be far away type of deal or situation, which is unhealthy. So never mind. Um, but that was my birthday weekend, and then I like spoke to my supervisor or whatever. We had like a meeting or whatnot, per usual. Um, and she was like checking in or whatever, checking in on me and whatnot. And she was asking me how I was, how it was going. And what I appreciate about my supervisor is she's a therapist all the time, right? and and she's been in this for years, decades or whatever. But as she was checking in, she was like, how you doing or whatever. And I was like, okay. And I told her that my irritability was high, like through the roof irritability. Not my irritability, but my lack of patience, right? Um, I had no, my patience is thin, is what I was telling her. Super, super thin. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. She was like, even with your son? Because you're really patient with your son. And I was like, it's thin. Like, it's thin. I'm more aware of it with my son because he's 5. Like, he ain't do nothing for me to be super irritable. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more aware of it with my son, but with other people, I'll be like, man, huh? It's none. Um, and she was like, what about your motivation? I said, there is no motivation. I have no motivation to do anything. I have no interest in anything. And she was like, oh, okay. She was like, well, have you been crying? And I was like, it's there. Yeah. And she was like, how's your sleep? And she was just going through the questions of depression, mind you. And she was like, she said, if I were you and had experienced the things that you've experienced, especially recently in such a short amount of time, I would have a depressed brain. And I was like, you know what? I'm with you when you're right. She was like, I would take the PH9, PHQ, the depression assessment that we have. She was like, I would take that to see where you are, and I would also see a psychiatrist. And I was like, sounds good, but the way my insurance is set up, baby, I might not have this very, very much longer. But all that to say, a depressed brain, I have. It's been an interesting time over here. Really, truly, it has. To experience this, um, to experience a depressed brain. And what I appreciate is the phrasing of depressed brain, because it's literally your brain, right? It's literally your brain that is depressed, um, that is functioning differently because of the situations that you have experienced or gone through, whatever. Your brain is now functioning differently. But I like the way that she worded it because it 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 sorry it separates it like separates you from it, like I don't know how to really explain it, but for me it it's like its own thing, something that I would be able to is like separate from me. Like it doesn't have to identify me as a whole person, like being a depressed being, like you are depressed. That has a different connotation than you have a depressed brain. Like having a depressed brain sounds like something that is more fixable, or is more, it gives a different framework for versus you are depressed. Like that is so much more depressing. That's so much more depressing. It's like it's almost like it identifies you. Um, and I don't like that. But saying that I have a depressed brain, like yes, my brain is now functioning differently. Me as a person, I may be doing things differently because my brain is doing things differently, but I am still Shayla, right? I am still the therapist. I am still the mom. Like I am still me, the artist. I am still the person. The only difference is my brain is now functioning differently. I don't know if that makes sense, but it helps. It helped me a lot. Seeing it that way and hearing it that way, it just helped me frame it differently. Like it's more workable. It's more workable that it's my brain and not my being, if that makes sense. Um, but yes, depressed brain, which has been interesting. It's been interesting to experience, to go through, have to push through in a sense, the lack of motivation, the lack of interest, the like no energy, more than not sleeping or not having rest. It's like a different, it's very different. It's a different feeling. Um, so experiencing this has been an interesting ride, um, which is not, I can't say I wasn't expecting, right? Because maybe in June I told her, and she suggested it then too, but I told her and my therapist, like in June, I was like, I see dark clouds coming in, is what I see. Dark clouds coming in, like for myself. I see dark clouds coming in, like rolling in slowly, and I do not see light. And when I told my supervisor that, she was like, um, maybe no, she said, what do you think about seeing a psychiatrist, like for preventative measures? And I was like, I didn't want to at the time. And I still don't, honestly. I don't want to take medicine. And that is just the honest truth. Um, I really don't. I don't want to take pills. I just don't want to take medicine. Um, I want to get through it without anything having to assist me, which is crazy because I started to use tree. Um, and like in the beginning, it was like, oh, okay, because I would be with people. Um, but now I'm like, this is boring. Like, this is boring. This is a drag. I just want to go to sleep. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm no longer interested in this. Um, which I mean is a good thing. It says I'm not building a habit or becoming dependent on it. Um, so that's great. Um, but yeah, I want to be able to like get through without the assistance of some outside substance source medication or whatever. Um, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing for me personally. Um, and I'm also not in, I haven't seen my therapist since my accident. I think I talked to her the day after that, and so many other things has happened since then, and I haven't talked to her since then. In those spaces, I in the between time of seeing her, I've been doing my best to allow myself to like feel whatever emotion comes up for me or whatever, and yet I'm still as much as I can. Except for yesterday, I literally did nothing. I canceled my whole day, but um I have been doing my best to just push through the feelings of not wanting to do, which can be very, 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 very hard. Very, 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 very hard to do. Just because I know I have work to do. I have a kid. I need to pay bills. I have, like, stuff. So I can't cancel my day every day. I canceled my day, but I pushed people to today. Like, I saw my clients today, and I'll see them next week or whatever. But I canceled my day and didn't do anything but, like, configure my new laptop and watch NCIS. I ate healthy. Oh, you guys. So I'm going to end on this note. So maybe some people can hold me accountable. I am doing a 75 soft, not hard, because hard is crazy. Kudos to y'all that did hard. But I'm doing 75 soft. And which I believe is helpful, like physical health wise, but also mental health wise, because when your body feels good, your brain can also feel good, and also exercising can also help your brain. So I'm doing the 75 soft. I already started. I'm like a week and a half in. All right, I don't know if Buki is doing it, but I haven't checked back in with her. We started, I think, that same Monday, but I don't know if she's doing it or not. We said we were going to do it, but I also got my brother on board, and he does the things anyway. But this week he has me taking ACV, apple cider vinegar shots, morning and evening, and then also eating kimchi. I got a vegan kimchi, and it's nasty for real, but I'm eating it. I think it's better on like food, and I haven't been eating it with food, so that's probably on me. So yes, anyway, I'm doing a 75 soft, and it ends like in December, sometime like the beginning of September, which is also the time frame I was giving myself for like really seeing body recomp changes. So it's like falling in line with what I wanted to do anyway, which is good. It's cool. I'm doing that. If you want to join me, feel free to join me. But that's it. That's all, y'all. I wanted to really do this because I've been pushing it off, and I ain't had the energy to do it, and I ain't been wanting to. No interest, no none of that. So hopefully this saved, because like I said, I don't know when I'm gonna do this again if it did not save. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate you guys. If you made it this far, thank you, because I was rambling on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Rambling. I really do appreciate you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can always message me on Facebook and Instagram at My Heart Speaks LLC. My Heart Speaks LLC on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys. Take care.